And hello once again, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a very long pause. Unfortunately, we had to kick things off regardless. First off, unfortunately, Syntax will lose map number 1 due to the fact that they didn't show up for about 45 minutes, and based on our rules, if they didn't show up for an additional 15 minutes, they would have lost the entire series. Thankfully, they found substitutes for their players who are still playing under the colors of Turkey as a part of the European Esports Nations Cup. So we're not going to see them on the spotlight. Instead, there's going to be some substitutes coming in for them, which is always a very awkward handicap if they don't have any player chemistry. Invision, they have played before during the season, if I'm not mistaken. And actually, no. It is their first time, so definitely a proper introduction will be required for pretty much both of these. Yep, this is technically to some extent the first time they're in the spotlight. So for Syntax, we have Mikey, Megawake, Kachal, Lenny, and still Borko currently playing. Two of these players we're going to keep on seeing across the rest of the season. Three are most probably going to be temporary only for today. In Vision, they have Spirit, Askels, Zipzap, Uncleave, and Asfried joining in their ranks. As for the picks, we have Snapfire, Ringmaster, Centaur, and Spectre on the side of Invision. As well for Syntax, they are having the big opener. It's going to be Shadow Fiend, Ember Spirit, alongside with Rubicon, Bane. And from history so far, what Syntax are opting in for are insane super meta picks, very strong on impact, very big on damage. And I don't think, aside from some awkward situations when there were some overextensions on the Shadow Fiend, I don't think I've actually seen a Shadow Fiend lose between this season and the one before it. Spectre, I'm not gonna withdraw from this. This is a hero that I genuinely dislike because it feels like it's been very heavily contested, but it doesn't really give you that much of a good carry kickoff. She's farming a lot, she's taking a lot of time. Yes, she does have the global presence, but ultimately she's setting things on a very slow timer. Like it's gonna cook for 3 hours and then we're gonna see a couple of big impactful team fight and it's gonna be over. Which is in huge contrast with what Syntax are currently having. They're going in fast, they're going in very rapid. Ember Spirit is super strong during the early stages of the game. Same could be said for Shadow Fiend. Rubik and Bane are always great for the control. Rubik with the early kickoff, telekinesis, fade bolts, and whatnot to burst through enemy heroes and enemy ranks. Bane later on with the big ultimate. One hero is gonna get locked on the spot and get destroyed. In Vision though, I do like the Snapfire and Ringmaster combination that they're bringing in, because not only are they bringing in a lot of control during the team fights, but also they are having a lot of damage and impact coming in from the Snapfire. Centaur always for getting in closer and personal, making sure everybody dies on spot. So I do like what they're cooking with the exception of Spectre, but maybe I'm gonna change my mind with the last picks coming in. For Invision, final bans are gonna be Lycan, it's gonna be Underlord, Undying God taken out as well as their final pick. It is gonna be Grimstroke, ultimately converting the Snapfire to become a core. So, based with the presence of the Centaur, this is most likely gonna be a Snapfire going in as mid, which is a decent counterweight versus the Ember Spirit, but I'm a bigger believer in Ember Spirit having a successful lane compared to the Snapfire. But Snapfire, she can easily evade awkward situations with the right, well-timed and well-positioned cookie. Last but not least, Syntax are bringing in the Tidehunter. Always good to have for the armor reduction for that big ultimate. Of course, you are having two heroes in your ranks who are always going to be gaining permanent effects from getting successful kill. One, Rubik with the Curiosity stacks, and B, it's Tidehunter with the fishies that he consumes after a kill. So, at the very least, if Syntax, if they put their mind and all together and, just push in, they are gonna be getting the rewards of their labor. And not to forget, they also have this concurrent debuff coming in from Bane. If they get those early kills, it's gonna be that stacking debuff from the Ichor of Natasha to make things a little bit more difficult for Invision. So, theoretically, Syntax should have the upper hand. But, in practice, they're a little bit torn asunder with the last two substitutes, three substitutes coming in. Which may be good, may be bad. They're still fighting at a disadvantage, so we shall see. As we said, it's gonna be Zip Zap taking the Snapfire for a stroll as a mid laner. Enclave, it's going to be Ringmaster Spirit onto Centaur, Askulls onto Spectre, and Aspirate on Grimstroke. Of course, it's always been crucial what will happen once the laning stage is over. If you're not able to keep things in check for the first 10 minutes, things are bound to get a little bit more awkward. So, Invision laning... I mean, the center lane should be a good one in terms of stability, but stability is not the name of the game here. You gotta punish the Shadow Fiend early while he has the highest impact, and allow a safe haven for Spectre to just utilize the Haunt every single time she just wants to go in for the kill. And yeah, they did bring it back to as it used to be. So Haunt is pretty much haunting all heroes, so we're no longer having that single target pick-off globally as it used to be. I mean, it used to be a Scepter upgrade, then it got converted into her ultimate ability, while the Haunt became the Scepter upgrade, and there's been a lot of switcheroos with this hero, but I still don't like it. I just still cannot grow fond of Spectre as a carry.
30 seconds.
I mean, a lot of people can say, no, you just don't understand the hero. I don't know, like, she could even have a ultra winning lane, or it's gonna be passive for the next 45 minutes. And again, Invision going passive, it is not the way to go. Already, we are seeing Invision going in aggressively with a deep smoke. Unfortunately for them, they're not gonna find anybody lingering around the triangle. But let's see if they convert it into first blood. Kachal within sight, but he's not gonna be close, and plus he's a very tough target to take down as level 1. So there we have it. A little bit lingering around mid. Mega Way. He's gonna take away that deeply placed Observer Ward, grinding himself some additional gold, and of course he's gonna get some tips from his friends to buy some nice cosmetics after this game is done. So yeah, let's just check out bottom lane. We have Bane and SF versus the Centaur and Ringmaster. This could be definitely an explosive combo, because you do have the Impelment Axe as a combo with the Hoof Stomp. Both of them dealing a lot of damage, and definitely exposing the fact that even though Syntax ultimately may be a very strong team of this draft, they are indeed quite squishy to begin with. But the beginning is not as important as the end. Megaway, he's gonna lose his courier by Askulls. Not sure why it was so deep within the dire jungle, but well, that just happened. First blood, still not happening, even though there could be a chance for a solo takedown, as Zip Zap is already a little bit on the suffering end, and even though Snapfire can be dealing a lot of damage as levels keeps on going, she's got a pretty short attack range, so that is a little bit problematic for her. Always gonna be within the fighting power of Mikey, and he keeps on going. Cookie, ooh, Mikey a little bit deep there, buddy. He's gonna go right under the tower. Fairy Fire for the save. The bottle is on time for Zip Zap, and he will turn around the tide of war, but still, no first blood. Still, he's got Mikey within sight. Mikey, he cannot jump as he did expend all of his resources, but timely bottle. And up he goes. And yeah, for those of you who are tuning in right now, we are indeed watching game number 2 between Syntax and Invision. As Syntax, unfortunately, were a little bit too late, as there's always going to be multiple tournaments happening at the same time, multiple competitions. Of course, here at EPL, we're always going to be the nice guys and make sure our players have better chances elsewhere, because, you know, you never know who's going to be the next TI contender. You never know who's going to be the next EWC or ENC champion. We don't want to rob away our players any good chances if they see them as such. Mega Way, oof. They're going to miss with the double connect from the Ink, but they're still looking for the kill potential. Asprey, a little bit too deep. The Stroke of Faith. I mean, not gonna lie, it is kind of tough to align that vector But it would have been better for Mega Wave to get that additional damage compared to Kachal. Down bottom. Still no first blood, as Invision are lingering quite deep behind Syntax's lines. As I said, this lane should be stable. Mid lane though, Zip Zap once again having issues. Mikey going in for the deep dive. He's still burning, but he's not gonna get the final hit for the kill shot. First blood is still not granted. They're shooting Osfried. He's gonna be thrown by the cookie. Tame the beast, gonna miss, but they have him within range. Mikey dies as first blood. 3.5 minutes well within this game. Even though Zip Zap could have been the victim first, but a beautiful double rotations coming in from his supports.
What can you do?
Is gonna make things a lot better. I mean, obviously, that's a sub difference. And the best part is, during this rotation, neither of the core heroes fell. So you're not trading, you are actually winning. Still, so far, nothing is stopping Shadow Fiend, who's currently at 2k, and he is a little bit diving in deep here, Lenny. He's gonna get stricken by the Impalement Acts, and it does sure as hell hurt. But he's got plenty of resources. He still has the Fairy Fire, 8 wand charges, 2 tangos, all is fine, and an enemy carry gone on the other side as Askel's. Ooh, that's gonna be a bad catch. A good catch for Syntax, but for Invision, it's not a good start. This might set things off to a very, very awkward course because the Tidehunter is getting the experience, he's getting the levels, the SF is completely uncontested. And I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to go for a 4 protect 1 strat as time keeps on going. Maybe if they utilize this Snapfire once she gets the Mortimer's Kisses. That rotation really did help her out in staying above Mikey. But still, she needs to be very precautious here because Mikey, obviously, there's zero hesitations on his end. Impalement Axe will connect with his Enclave. Jumps in from the other side and tame the beasts as well. Mikey looking for a chance to jump, but nope, it's not happening. He's losing a lot of experience away from the Remnants. And of course, everything that he's losing, Zip Zap, is just getting it double. So yeah, still on a good path. There's a level 6, but no mana present for the Snapfire. And of course, no victim at the same side. But still Borko coming in from Karstens. He is smoked up, but way too soon here. 10 seconds left remaining until the runes spawn. He's looking for Zip Zap, but oh, they're gonna find him as well. Instead, Impalement Acts, Nightmare, take him back. He's got to dance around Enclave, but he still manages to snatch away the illusion. Now Zip Zap in a tough spot, but manages to find the right angle for the cookie. Even though he's still taken by the blood grenade, he's gonna get out of reach. So ultimately, he's gonna escape death 3 times in a row. Absolutely insane. Just trust Mortimer. He's gonna get us as far as we need to go. Mega Wave though, he tastes the first drops of the Mortimer's Kisses. Now refocus onto Mikey. He's still low. He still doesn't have the remnant. Silenced up. Cookie forward, but ooh, they almost save him. Everything, nightmares and whatnot. Still, it's not gonna be enough. Steel Borko on the other side. He was doing his best, but now they're losing units. Zip Zap still standing strong. One more strike. He's gonna get it, but there's Lightning lingering on the other side. He's gonna miss the race. Zip Zap, what a champ. This guy. Okay, like, he's been... At least during that team fight, he ran away from death twice. Like, he was target number 1, and then he was almost the final victim. But those cookies land, and they land every single freaking time. This is absolutely beautiful to watch. So, for sure, that is one lane for Invision. Pretty much winning after I had anticipated it's gonna be totally lost. Centaur as well, having a good time. Spirit, absolutely chilling, free farming, solo farming at the same time. But topside, it seems like that's the place where Invision are mostly suffering. Askel's, he got taken down earlier. And he should be careful now against Kachalis. He's got the Ravage. And of course, there's that lack of experience for the supports as they've been rotating, they've been roaming around mid for quite a while to secure the advantage for the Snapfire. 5-2 so far. Wisdom Shrines, 1 was obtained on each side, nothing too special. Meanwhile, mid lane, Mikey once again going in for a deep dive. This time, He's got the spirit for the save. He's gonna miss out on the cookie. But if that silence landed a little bit sooner, he would have been dead again. But thankfully, you can account for the distance traveled by the spirit. And it's enough of an open window for you to pop the spirit and get the hell out of there. But if Asfried was closer, that travel time would have been, you know, much shorter.
Radiant are scanning.
And with the Ember being taken out, bottom lane being completely under check, Invision, they're moving in for a big target and they're looking for Lenny. 82/7 so far in terms of CS. He's got the Morbid Mask halfway through completion towards the Mask of Madness, but he's not gonna be the first target they find. Instead, it's gonna be the Bane. Stampede popped up, Askel's joining in as well. He needs to get a taste of the action as well. And they're gonna get 2 kills for free. It's gonna be a big effort for, you know, those 2 supports. But it's keeping Invision in a very, very good position. What they are losing in natural farming, they are very well compensating it with kills. But again, the question is, can they get Lenny? They have him completely surrounded, and they have him exposed. Impalement Axe, everything will connect. Can they keep him quiet? Yes, they will. Requiem will only pop once. Spirit lingering in the backlines, he noticed that there's TPs that went through Mikey. Invis Rune, he's got Enclave. Enclave notices something is body blocking me, guys. Escape pack, nicely done. Bound. He's gonna bind them both, feared up, but still Megaway is gonna die. It's gonna be a trade-off for the supports as Mikey, he's gonna get away from the silence, even though that setup was really, really scary. Second kill obtained for Syntax. But Invision, they got away with a bigger price after that one. Slowly pushing Lenny down. I mean, the more downtime this guy has, the more difficult it is gonna be for him to come back. I mean, after he gets, you know, a little bit of a Mask of Madness, a little bit of kills here and there, he could be able to compensate, but if you keep on choking him, it's gonna be a lot tougher. Meanwhile, Mikey looking for an opportunity, he's gonna get Asfried, but misses out on Spirit completely, and he missed out on his hoof stop as well. Mortimer's Kiss is flying in, they have a lock on Bane, but will he burn? Requiem in the backlines, they're pushing Spirit out. Mikey's still dancing right in the middle of the fray. He is burning, but he's decided to get the hell out of there. Nobody dies, aside from Asfried. Second support kill for Syntax. So far, 10 minutes in, we are seeing a lot of action, but passively, Invision are getting the better out of it. And that intervention earlier coming in from the Spectre was very much needed. This led to the power threads being completed, the Urn of Shadows being done, and she can say she's comfortably halfway through completing the Sacred Relic, but still, that's a long course. I think Spectre is one of the slowest carries out there to farm for a Radiance. I mean, aside from the Spectral Dagger that she needs to crawl line very nicely between the camps, she doesn't have anything else built in. I mean, yeah, you are getting some reflection coming in from the dispersion, but it's not a lot. I mean, currently, yeah, it is at 50%. But it's like having somebody farm with a blade mail and just that being your farming item. As for it, gets caught up by both Mikey and Megaway. He's gonna let the Inkwells pop, but the telekinesis will throw him back. Impalement Axe, Team the Beast, but as for he should have just went forward. He turned back. Those 3 centimeters literally were, I mean, they could have been the difference between life and death. Runespawn is top, so nothing here to contest. Still, it's gonna be Syntax's to take. Mikey fills up the bottom with a Regen Rune. Nicely done. Nice find. During this downtime, Lenny, he's just farming, and that is just a problem waiting to grow. I mean, if he's not throwing that all the time, you know, into kills, it might ultimately be an effort wasted for the Spectre to have a little bit of a domination of her own. Still farming that Radiance. This is gonna take a lot of time. How are Syntax looking on their other heroes, though? Urn of Shadow, as expected, completed on Mikey. Megaway, well, he's ultimately really poor. I mean, he was taken down 3 times. Still Borko.
Radiant's middle tower
Yep,
is under
still
attack.
lacking on completing those
Are
boots,
scanning.
but they do have the Fiend's Grip and they have the Spell Steal, so who's gonna be their first victim is the big question. Zip Zap, ooh, quickie forward, almost placed him out of position, but he's gonna get gripped out right under the tower, eventually breaks out, he's fine, Soulbind onto 2 targets, instant silent, and Mikey, he's gonna get obliterated right under the tower with the Wheel of Wonder. Kachai, looking like target number 2, but you gotta keep the distance because it's a tight hunter that we're talking about here. He's trying to break them off. They're throwing projectiles from afar. If they can drop him severely low, it's gonna be fine. Mortimer's Kiss is now dropped. Kachal. Oh, Nightmare for the save. Zip-Zap, he will break the projectiles, but they still have him on lock. Ravage used up. It's only for 2 targets to connect, but there is Lenny. Here he comes. Asfried, escape back. Nicely done. The dagger is gonna connect onto Kachal, but Askels, he's not willing to go forward as Asfried. He's gonna get taken down by the Rays. I mean, a lot of effort for ultimately, I mean, it is a win for Invision. All in all, they only use Asfried. They take away the killing spree from Mikey. Megaway is gonna die by Askels. So it's just benefits for the Spectre. And just the Talisman of Evasion left remaining. Which should be right around the corner. But map space might become a little bit smaller for her. As Syntax, they're pushing in the tier 1 tower mid. With 3 units on the double, even without the Ravage, they're definitely scary. I mean, just the Shadow Fiend being present, and the Amplify rune on top of him, I mean, just the best of both worlds. Amplifying the spell damage, amplifying that right-click damage. That's just scary stuff, man. Never underestimate it. And oh, to make matters worse, look at those stacks. Look at that easy money for Lenny. Which, I mean, it's not gonna fully complete the Monta, but it's on a good path to it being done. Askels, well, it's the same story all over again. Where's your Radiance, buddy? Where's your farming item? Meanwhile, Syntax are trying to get... Well, I thought they were gonna go for some deep vision, but this Bane, he's just looking for trouble. At the very least, Invision, they have some good vision within their jungle, pun intended. So they can, at the very least, protect the farming lines for Spectre to have a good time. But, intruder alert. Kachal. Ooh, Asfried, I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there if I were you, buddy. Nightmare, put to sleep. Instant grip. Enclave on the side. He's gonna pop the escape pact. Instant kisses, jumping in, but it's a steal. Megaway, he gets some kisses off his own, but Askels, he's like, don't mind if I do. Thank you very much for exposing yourself, but it's not gonna be enough damage. They will get a nice double log, but Lenny's right around the corner. Spectre is gonna get the hell out of there. Still, they will secure the Megaway kill. But now Spirit is in a bad spot. Mikey closing in. They will root him up. Lenny, oh, nice Ravage connecting onto 3. Kachal, 1 down, securing yet. Almost another one. Mikey does not want to commit for a high ground dive there. They're already happy with the Centaur kill, as it is. And of course, Lenny being present, Lenny pushing, Lenny dealing the damage, is always gonna make matters worse. Even though, surprisingly, he's not the top in terms of damage. I mean, yeah, the Ravage connected onto 3 targets. And he's been smashing, he's been gushing. And these hit at least 2 every single time. But still, Invision, they're still at somewhat of an advantage, even though they're not even tied in terms of towers, which might be a problem. But they have finally secured the big item onto Askel, so he can finally farm, and he can utilize pretty much the entire map. But at the same time, he's gotta be careful not to die, because he only has 1 chance every 160 seconds, which is gonna get lowered by 10 seconds in enough experience, but it's still a lot of time. Kachal? Can they get him during his cooldown? But they don't feel safe venturing out there. They still have that back vision to keep an eye out on what's happening in the river. And they are moving forward, surprisingly. They have to stampede if they get anyone in vision, but they still don't
Radiant are
have
scanning.
any of the blink daggers. I mean, it's not like, oh my god, there's gonna be at least 3 heroes wielding a blink dagger here. I am looking at Spirit, but for the second time today, I am looking at a Centaur prioritizing a Heart of Tarask before getting the blink dagger done. Again, it's an interesting choice when you have an immense damage dealer on the other side, so you can mitigate his early impact. So there's at least one target that the enemy side is scared of, and now he's gonna commit for the blink and instantly go premium and go for a Shiva. And I do like this long-term commitment,
Radiant are
but
scanning.
such as the draft.
Radiant's
And we might be here for an hour, ladies and gentlemen, so you'd better pop some popcorn, as this is indeed gonna be a fun match, regardless if it goes down to a game 3. Well, I would rather have it go down to a game 3, because we lost some game 1 action due to the forfeit. But have we earned it is, you know, the big question. Invision, they're moving forward, they pop the Hunt, they pop the Stampede, they have Lenny inside, Hoofstomp, Will of Wonder, Kisses, everything for him to die in a package deal with Steel. Nicely done, a little bit of an overcommitment there with the Kisses, but, you know, better be safe than sorry in situations as such. You'd better have the lock, you'd better have the damage, otherwise they're just gonna turn around and strike you back. Mikey's gonna see that as an opener, there's gonna be a Ravage opener, and you're ultimately screwed. Without the damage, Syntax are not willing to fight, and especially not without the Bane in his grip. So far, about, well, 5 heroes are about to join the 10k club. So we are looking at a pretty close core difference. Mikey at the lowest, as expected from the Ember, if he's not getting those early kills, but he might be happy with 1, as the escape act is not gonna last long for Enclave. I keep on wanting to say Enclave, but I assume
Radiant's courier
it's
has been killed.
Enclave due to the weird pronunciation. Or it could be even something else, you know. I'm just making things up as I go. A lot of these players, they do tend to have the weirdest of names. Down bottom, Syntax. They're gonna go in for a Tormy. A little bit of an extra unit to divide the damage, but it's gonna be secured in a pretty decent time. And Steel, he's gonna get the upgraded Brain Sap. Let's see if he's gonna put it to good use. Lenny got scouted out. Spirit, he wants to commit for the jump. Beautiful Manta. And actually, this did Spirit a favor, because little does he know that there's 4 heroes lingering on the other side, so the disengage forced him not to commit, but he's still within enemy's way. But on the backline, Zip Zap, oh, he spotted out Kachal. But they're just gonna walk their separate ways. Nothing to see here. Instead, Invision, they're focusing down bottom, but it's gonna be tough for them to find a big target as there's already Vision present on their end. Well, on the end of Syntax, that is. But Zip Zap, though, look at that farm on the Snapfire. Boost of Travels, BKB. I'm gonna go in for the Kaya for a little bit of a spell lamp. Why not? I mean, she can even go in for, you know, a full stat build and go in for a Sanj and Kaya or something like that. Yasha and Kaya, not necessarily. Sanj would be a little bit better. But I do like it. This hero does not necessarily get the Mortimer's Kisses in a stronger state via a Scepter or something as such. But Stampede, oh, Mega Way. Are they gonna take him down? They need the damage, they need something more. Askel's, he's gonna get a lock on to Lenny. There's the Mortimer's Kisses flying in, Requiem charged up. They're not gonna get the Rubik, but they're still willing to commit. If it means that this SF is gonna die, it's a good one. So let's see. Can we get something else? We still have Kachal to worry about with the Ravage. They're gonna jump for it, BKB up. Zip Zap, he's willing to fight no matter what. In the backline, Spirit, he gets a lock onto Steel Borko. They have him ticking away, and he's gonna burst. Wheel of Wonder, oh, beautiful positioning. As Spirit was right under the tower. Cookie for the connect. Kachal, Mikey jumping in. Can he at least take one? It doesn't seem like it, but Enclave, he's dropping low. He will try to evade with the illusions, but it's just gonna be 1. For the exchange of 4 as Askel's gets an ultra. Mikey looking like he's gonna be the last one for a team wipe. Very nicely done. Invision I was expecting to see this at around 42 minutes into this game, but they're very much on point. Really nicely done.
Has fallen.
Very good control from minute 1 over DSF. Lanes, they kept them balanced out. The first 15-20 minutes, they kept them balanced out, and now they're willing to strike. And in such a scenario, where only the SF is your leading target, they're able to manage through. And Spectre, she's just melting through targets and multiplying across the map. To make matters worse, she's on a safe course towards focusing on her damage items now. So Scotty is gonna come up next. She's gonna go in for the butterfly and then go in for the BKB. Meanwhile, Lenny, he has taken a step back as he cannot really commit for a bigger item off his own. In terms of damage, that is. Instead, he needs to think defensively. He's working for the BKB, he's working for the Hurricane Pike. Not that those items are pretty bad, but if you have a good SF game, you're just doubling down on the aggression and trying to call it over as soon as possible. Spirit, ooh, very nice last second jump away. He's gonna see the reveal from Mikey after that smoke. The rest of the team focusing on putting as much deep vision as they can while Mikey's pushing in. Maybe somebody's gonna get baited out. Nope, he's gonna back off. While the rest of the team, they're focused on Roche, but that ghosty there, it revealed a little bit too much from the Grimstroke, and pretty much they had an alien situation there. Syntax, they were carrying a foreign unit right into the Roche pit, so they pretty much got exposed. Invision now setting themselves up for murder. They have the Blink Dagger onto Spirit, they have Zip Zap, who did actually opt in for the Yasha and Kaya just to utilize that right-click damage a little bit more and speed it up. Spirit with the jump. No, that's not your real guy. Just give it up. In the mid lane, though, now that's a different story. It is gonna be Steel, and it's gonna be Kachal, who does have the Ravage. But do you want to commit? How far are you willing to chase him down? Meanwhile, Askel's on a godlike streak, so he's a pretty big target for the Taken. Spirit keeps up with the pressure. They're gonna draw him out with the cookie in case things get a little bit too shaky. They're just gonna leave it at 1. Roche changes sides, and it's exactly where Invision are anticipating him. And they don't really have the upper hand when it comes down to a Roche fight, because there's always that classic, you're locked in, we're just gonna jump in with the Ravage. So they're trying to take down as many units as they can from around the pit. Megaway, great kill. Rubik, he's gonna be out of the game for 40 seconds. No buyback available. Kachal gets caught up next. Wheel of Wonder, silenced up, locked into place. Can they keep him silenced for long enough? Yes, indeed. No Ravage available, but he does have a buyback. Meanwhile, down bottom, Zip Zap in danger, but they will pop to Stampede. Takes down Steel, and he still has Mikey within reach. He's not gonna get the trade. Beautiful BKB with the escape act on top. 4 heroes die, 1 by 1. And Invision, 26 minutes in, they're leading by 12k with 25 over 10 kills. Roche, well, we're gonna focus on him right now as the coast is clear. And we can just pour in as much aggression as we can. Spectre upon 16k, and this is the only good Spectre game, not only this season, but the season before, during the TI qualifiers, right now even during ENC. Like, I'm not a believer of this hero, but I'm always happy when I'm wrong, so she's proving me wrong. She's got an early domination for a Spectre, which is amazing to see, and of course she's got a beautiful team to make it happen. Invision, they've been committed, they've been aggressive. They were withholding, you know, when they knew they didn't have the upper hand, but just trust your draft. When it's time to strike, they will feel, well, in this case, our axes, and our hoofs, and our whips and daggers. The entire Ringmaster circus show. I very much did like the Sunspan comment for this latest patch. They called it Clownfall, which is, you know, appropriate since it's a similar formula to what we've seen last year. But it's a fun story. I do like the shenanigans happening with Legion and Hoodwink. Not sure how far you got it into the story, so I'm not gonna spoil anything. But somewhat I'm starting to become a Dota lore enjoyer, since Dota are starting to develop their own lore, and it's, you know, it's quirky, it's fun. And what's fun, it's actually getting a big team fight and with Lenny in the backlane, but Kachal will manage to pop a beautiful Ravage, locking them in on the spot, and Requiem will go through, but the Mortimer's Kisses are flying from afar. They still have a lock on to all of them as Kachal Mega Wave. They're gonna die down, and Askels, who still has the second life, he's even gonna take down the Bane. And even though everything seemed to go right for Syntax, the Ravage was on point, the Requiem was on point, but the 15k net worth difference already means that these guys can suffer the punch, and everything was just for the Centaur to die. But everybody else was ultimately fine. And they're still able to push. They're still able to keep up with the aggression, of course. Things are looking great for Spectre. Scotty is completed, so now the Butterfly is on Brood. Well, still not on Root, still not on the Courier. It still needs some time to be completed.
Radiant are scanning.
SF, he's definitely happy that he survived that entire slaughter. But it mainly has to do due to those 9 seconds of BKB. Because during those, like, of course, not necessarily the damage that you are mitigating, but you're avoiding the cookies, you're avoiding the soulbind, you're avoiding the Wheel of Wonder and the Impalement Acts and Escape Acts and whatnot, because there's so many ways you can get locked down. But now, well, he's gonna get the BKB off of cooldown, so it does explain why Syntax are willing to fight, but will that chance be granted as Steel instantly gets caught up by Askels and gets destroyed? Lenny, though, gets ass-freed in return, but he's in a tight spot. Mortimer's Kiss is flying in, Askels on top of him, and he's gonna die. In the backline Spirit, he finds 2 more. It's gonna be Megaway and Kachal. Kachal, he's just gonna blink away back home, as there's no Ravage to commit, there's no heroes to add up with additional damage, and of course your Rubik is running away at the same time, so you got no support to help you out. And actually, okay, it was only Asfreed that fell. Enclave, he somehow survived that entire endeavor. And I do love this aggressive build onto the Ringmaster, going in with the Aether Lens, going in with the Rod of Adas, Blink Dagger, and he's gonna go in with the Scepter, which is not something that we see every day on a Ringmaster, so 2 escape back charges, and when the box pops, daggers are flying everywhere. Pretty much, let's just call him a mini Queen of Pain. Meanwhile, Megaway, they're gonna die for him, and they're gonna take him down, so it's a good commitment, keeping the Rubik in check as slowly Syntax are getting their cores back online. But only with the Bane. I'm not sure if they're willing to commit. Askels, he still has the Aegis for 40 more seconds. That's been a lot of damage inflicted by Invision ever since it got brought in. So he's just gonna retreat, push back the top lane, which is the only lane still standing for Syntax. And mind you, less than 10 minutes ago, I did say that Invision haven't even been able to balance out the tower takedowns. Now they have cleared out bottom side, they've cleared up mid. They are trying to give the same treatment to top side. But Mikey, he's looking to intervene, he's looking to cut the creep waves. Well, not cut the creep waves, but, you know, try to lower them as much as he can, but there was only 1 creep. So, ultimately time wasted. Invision, they're still pushing in, but they're just gonna leave the creep wave to do that, at least for the time being. They're focused on to bigger items. It's gonna be an overwhelming blink coming in for Spirit next. Spectre, as we said, it's gonna be the Butterfly, which is nearing completion. For Zip Zap, ooh, we have a Refresher queued up. Now that's a really sexy item. Enclave, we did speak about the Scepter that we're not seeing every day, Grimstroke. Now finally he can double down on a little bit of aggression off his own. He already has the Solar Crest. He's gonna go in for a Blink Dagger to make things close and personal, and on Aeon Disc on top. I'll just make sure to check on Syntax in the meantime, so only the Mage Slayer currently for Mikey, nothing else queued up. Megaway, ooh, he's still lacking on the chart. Ooh, that's a little bit punishing, but earlier on the RNG rolled for Bane, so even though Rubik would have been 10 times better. he's contemplating whether he wants to go in for, you know, the quick buy or not. Because it's an expensive item and time is running short for Syntax. So they might as well need that buyback for Mega Weight. Only 2 buybacks are well, 3 buybacks are currently available. 4 slowly coming in, but nobody had forced them out a little bit too soon. So it's good news for both sides. Meanwhile, Tidehunter, Consecrated Wraps, Scepter has been completed for the AoE Gush. He's got the Glimmer Cape, interesting choice here. But I guess you at least want to have a layer of safety of your own. For the SF, he is working his way up for the Silver Edge, so Shadow Blade is already completed so he can be sneaky. As for Bane, well, nothing too spectacular for Steel. I mean, what do you expect? He died 9 times in 34 minutes. And it might turn into double digits soon enough. As there's a smoke coming in from Invision Spirit, leading the way. And he's looking for a big target. He's looking for a good one. And it's the most mobile one across the map. It's gonna be Mikey. And still within the Will of Wonder, Kachal lingers. And they're gonna take down 4 heroes in one single sweep. Having both Zip Zap and Askel on a beyond godlike streak. What's their KDA? 11-0-12 on the Snapfire. 15-1-13 on the Spectre. This is absolute insanity. Ladies and gentlemen, this is way too much for my tiny heart to handle. Buyback forced out on Borko. Lenny wants to jump in, but he's hesitant. He's gotta pop that BKB, but it feels a little bit too soon. Kachal trying to land in on the beautiful Ravage, but he's instantly silenced. They have him bound, both of them. He's not gonna release the Requiem now, as Mikey also forced out a buyback. He's gonna jump into the backlines, but guess what? Grandma's got a refresher, and Lenny's gonna burst. 75 seconds. No buyback for Steel. Mikey is looking like he's gonna die next. Slowly but surely, Syntax are falling. And there's only left the Rubik to defend the base. And there's the GG. Well, I guess it was an easy 2-0 for Invision, as Game 1 was granted to them by forfeit. And Syntax, well, they did their best to at least get a bunch of people to play for game number 2, but they were a little bit out of sync, they were a little bit overly confident with their draft, and they failed to deliver. Invision, they knew exactly how to maneuver around the SF, they knew exactly how to make Ember's life more difficult, and they proved to me that they can make Spectre look absolutely amazing. With that, not only that they had their debut here at EPL, but also their first victory. Unfortunately, the wait has only led us to have only one map, so thank you for everybody who decided to stick around for this small little series. Hopefully tomorrow is going to be a little bit more of an interesting day, which I really do hope we're going to watch the 4 series that are currently scheduled. Actually, no, already one got rescheduled from the morning. So we're actually down to three games. So it should be Balu versus Syntax, PogChamp versus Namiga, Invision versus Summer Bear. I really want to see PogChamp. That's a name I haven't seen in EPL in so many seasons. So I really do hope they have a good player combination brought into the mix. So yeah, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for sticking around for this, well, less than an hour stream. And I will be seeing you in the upcoming seasonal days. Have a good one.